Welcome back, everybody. We're ready to continue the second presentation for the day for the community experience of the Berklee Global Jazz Institute graduate program. I would like to thank everybody for being here. We have today, at this moment, Carlos Capacho presenting. We would like to welcome his panelist Oscar Stagnaro with us today, as well. Thank Chase Morin as his advisor. I'm going to read a little bit of his Carlos biography, and then Carlos, as soon as you're ready, we can start. Okay. Carlos Capacho is a pioneer, innovative, and talented cuatro jazz musician with a vision to create a multi-bridge between countries and culture through his music with Venezuelan roots, which expand jazz into a new direction and incorporates elements of world, folk, fusion, rock. Carlos has been a student at the Global Jazz Institute, not just this year, but it was also part of the undergrad program. He's been associated with our program for years now, traveled together to Africa, many other places. This year particularly, we went together as a part of the ambassador program to the Dominican Republic, and he did an amazing job there. We're very excited to hear your presentation, Carlos. Welcome, and let us know when you're ready. We are ready.
Thank you. I'm ready. All right. Good afternoon. My name is Carlos Capacho. First of all, I would like to thank Danilo Perez, Marco Pinataro, and Global Jazz Institute for this incredible experience. Today, I will be presenting my CE project, The Journey of the Venezuelan Cuarto. While working on this project, I explored the connection with my tradition and jazz, asking questions like who I am and what is my duty. Through this process, I also explored the importance of music in society and ways to explore the past in order to change the future for the better. And as a global ambassador, the journey of the Venezuelan Cuarto is the representation of my research based on my life experience as a gratitude being able to bring the tradition into the academic perspective and developing a new path for the future. I'm going to be talking today in these two topics. One of them is the bridge between Venezuela and global jazz, and the second one should be the Music Institute. In terms of the first topic, I want to discuss the connection with jazz and Venezuelan tradition. As a jazz musician, as a jazz music and Venezuelan music has been influenced by different cultures such as Africa. Venezuela is on the Caribbean Sea, where slaves coming from Africa were distributed around the globe. The elements of Africa are in such traditions of music, food, rights arriving in America, but I have different ways to express due to the economic, cultural, and social environment of each country where the slavery was present. For example, the music was played in different instrumentation and formats. When I started to learn the traditional style of Venezuela music, nobody mentioned African influence. And I had the opportunity to go to Africa in 2014 with the Global Jazz, and I could hear the same form of group that I grew up in Venezuela. Part of my research is to explore the origin and connection with Mother Africa and Venezuelan music. And tradition of Venezuela is one of the things I want to show. And I'm presenting 5 main styles of traditional music, which are classified according to the region. These are part of my research and connections to jazz. It's important to mention that these are not the only style of Venezuela. We have a lot more. In terms of this slide, I would like to mention that exploring the tradition of Venezuela in my personal perspective, I was able to connect with the philosophy of Global Jazz Institute, applying elements of music and nature, improvisation, composition, the social power of music, and mastering the instrument. That's one of the topics I focus in what I'm been learning in Global Jazz Institute. And I would like to start with the Joropo. Basically, on Joropo, which is a Spanish heritage from colonization, has African, Native South American, and European influence. The history of traditional Joropo is based on a harmonic triad progression and static rhythm, And I will demonstrate with a simple, one of the best examples, it should be the Alma Llanera, which is the hymn song for us. And this is kind of the instrumentation, harp, cuatro, bass, and this song particular by performer Juan Vicente Torralbo, which was one of the exponents of this amazing music Venezuelan. And it's also important to mention the cuatro on the history is being as a accompanying instrument on the tradition. And due to my studies in jazz, I was able to understand, expand, and apply this knowledge in a new way to enrich the sound of tradition through my instrument, incorporating elements of vocabulary just like reharmonization, phrasing, and swinging. Also, in this particular composition, what I made, I used elements of core melody, a style influenced by Bill Evans, Oscar Peterson, and Wes Montgomery. And I would like to demonstrate for you. Title of the song was Who I Am, and one of the topics I use on global is part of the mastering the instrument, and still I'm trying to do that. And now I'm going to the next topic, which is the merengue, one of my favorites. Original merengue was made for dance. The first occurrence of merengue in print in Venezuela are from a score for dance merengue on the second half 19th century. Merengue acquired popularity in Caracas during the 1920s, and the original instrumentation was cuatro, clarinet, and snare. In the picture, you can see basically the group Los Antaños of the stadium. We was a famous group who dressed exactly like New Orleans Dixieland style and used jazz influence, where they will play the first melody and then improvise or embellish over the melody on the form. Merengue started as a 2/4 meter, and over the years, it will change. So that's basically what we have right now here, the way they start to write, and then start to do some variations over the years until what we have right now in the present, which is in the 5/8, became to the well-known 5/8. And this particular composition, what I will just show, I was able to explore the simplicity of the melody, preserving the original traditional instrumentation, adding pianos, bass, drum, electric cuatro, and maracas. We use elements of improvisation, the clarinet, piano, and cuatro in a free jazz context, highly influenced by Pat Metheny, Danilo Perez, and John Patitucci. And I would like to demonstrate. On the section of this song, I will also comment a few parts. I hope you guys enjoy. Cuarto electric. Great. Yeah, part of my topic in that was also part of improvisation, composition, and I call this merengue work week. Now, I'm going to show you, moving to the next gender is Venezuelan Calypso. And during the 19th century, African Trinidadians and the Caribbean began the migration to Venezuela to work in the gold mines enslaved by Europeans. Coming from this region, I was able to deeply research the tradition and style which is rich with various African percussion instruments like the boomback or bell. And this song, I was able to explore a way to duplicate on the cuatro what percussion normally does and reharmony with the complex chord melody and improvisation, giving it a sense associated with the Carnival Festival as a tradition by the West Indian. All right, just gonna play for you. That's an example of the calypso. And now I will play for you the song. That's one of the other style and deeply connection with the rhythms and of Africa. And now I would like to kind of close in the first topic, which is the last style and what I explore is the tonada. This is one of the big composer and famous Simon Diaz of this style. This style was played basically when the farmer would milk cows, calling for the interaction between animals and humans. Labor rights symbolize the spirit of coexistence among those who perform common tasks. In this context, I approached the tonada as a protest song, creating lyrics as a reflection of what Venezuela was before the current political dictatorial regime and hoping for freedom for all the Venezuelans in the near future. This composition, it was a minor progression on 8-bar, which incorporated elements of blues in the melodic lines, including a molar harmony interlude, bird sound, natural and water elements. I'm gonna play for you. And this also represents my commitment to social change and activism as someone who was victim and victim of the past.
Lo feliz que fui en mi infancia, vivía libre en mi país, al lado de la familia que ahora se encuentra sin mí. Cuántas cosas tan bonitas, ¿por qué cambiar?
Great. Still hard for me. This when I wrote this, kind of I want to reflect what I feel about the situation. Now, ending my first topic, I would like to basically conclusion from this first topic, and the conclusion for me is basically why this project is so important. Through all the adversities in my life journeys, in terms of the controversy of tradition, politics, and social issues, music always guide me in the dark and light times. And I was able to keep my dream since I was young to come to US, to prepare and educate more deeply in jazz and connect with my mission on life as ambassador of peace through music. Jazz definitely changed my life in all the aspects to be a better person in the society. What is my relation with this work? This is part of my contribution and legacy, and since I've been learning and researching over the years the tradition of Venezuelan jazz, thanks to jazz, I was able to learn, expand, and open doors of possibilities, connecting more deeply with my roots, exploring and blending the tradition of Venezuelan music and jazz, and to bring a new language to my instrument as a traditional repertoire. What is my conclusion? First, I will say deeply connection with African roots on Venezuelan style. Also, to encourage other people to play the cuatro, learn the tradition, or use music as art in general as a tool to improve their life. This could change the world in a good direction. And I could mention examples like Marco Renal, Fran Bielma's C4 Trio, Ensemble Burrufio, X Simon are examples of Venezuelan who have been doing this work too. And my second part of my project, which is Music Institute, is the last phase, which is my part of long-term project. And SIRAPTA, the Music Institute of SIRAPTA, means a star in Pemon language, tribute to my ancestors, to Venezuelan Indian from Guyana. This idea I started 2 years ago in Providence, Rhode Island, in a church with my wife, Hannah No, where we have students from different age, from 4 years to 40 years, and where I started to teach music and play on the church. Since I was able to be part of the system of Venezuela, education has always been a part of my career, and I decided to create an institute where I could possibly share music with kids, adults, or anyone with desire to learn to play, and using this as a social change program to better people in society. This program is connected with my first topic because I want to include concert series, artists, workshop, teaching, recording, performing, outreach, and student counseling. And this year, the good news is we were awarded with the Creativity Calling grant by Boston University as the only one music project for these three years. And I would like to share a video for my work and what I've been doing this year. And with this, we'll end my presentation. I'm open to questions now after the video. Let me just show you the video. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Congratulations. Okay. Now I'm going to start the part of the questions. So the panel will ask questions, and I also forgot to mention before at the introduction that we also have the pleasure to have Mr. Marco Granados as part of the panelists that Carlos chose. So welcome again, Mr. Granados.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And why don't you start if you have any question or any comments to Carlos?
Well, Carlos, congratulations. Really great presentation. Very inspiring, the work that you're doing. I have a couple questions. So in the outreach project that you're doing, are you teaching those kids Venezuelan music?
Yes, totally. I also, one of my incorporation, we bought some small eggs, kind of emulating what the normal maracas doing. But and we have some videos and teaching them some maracas, and we also I always incorporate like Joropo music, and for example, we will do a hymn song, but I'm gonna arrange in merengue style or Joropo for them, and that's one of the things I want to share my tradition, but at the same time I wanna also giving a new fresh way to listen the music, and I'm really sure they didn't or don't know about the styles. And sometimes I will also do some workshops for them, what is exactly the style, or what is exactly what we do in terms of what is the cuatro, what is the harp. Sometimes I brought some artists, and that's one of my missions as a long term. I want to keep bringing more my tradition and with the Institute.
And are you teaching different classes for the different instruments, or is it like a group class?
Good question. We basically right now, it depends. It's always adjusting who come and to the church, but I always trying to approach and different. I split in different teams. Now we doing together. Sometimes we do. Mostly I do piano, bass, drums, ear training, theory, and now we're gonna incorporate also recordings. But yeah, we try and depend what the student want, and then we split the time and kind of do a private lesson for the kid or for the person who is interested to learn.
Okay. And then the other question I had, these original songs that you presented at the beginning, is that part of a CD project?
Yeah. The 4 topics, and there, yeah, I was able to compose. Everything is original composition, and I choose the team in terms of the style and compose on them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marco.
Carlos, who are the musicians that participated in the? I don't know if you mentioned them or I missed it.
Sure. Yeah, we have on this in the Tonada, we have a Tyson Jackson, Tamara Herrera, Carlos Capacho. We also have on Magali Hurtado is my grandmother who helped me out with the lyrics, and really grateful. She's really amazing poetry and always, and I was really blessed to having her compose this together. And we have on the merengue, I had the opportunity with my advisor, James Morin, Greg, Misaki, Matt Stubbs, Alexis Soto. It was great. And the other, I play basically as a soloist.
Who was the singer? What was that? Tamara.
Tamara Herrera.
Okay.
A great composer I met in Berklee. And one of my teams is always to share and collaborate with, and that's one of my goals in long term. I want to share with around the globe and with all the artists in as many ways I can in different genders and styles.
Did you write the lyrics of the song?
Yeah, it was between my grandmother and myself. We have the chance to do this together.
Maestro Stagnaro, do you have please any comment or question for Carlos?
Sure. Carlos, first of all, congratulations for the work. I wish in every country in Latin America, young people like you will dedicate some time to the research that you've done and then try to make their music the way they're supposed to be in the 2020. And well, your compositions, you demonstrate that you have the tradition very well solid. And I would like to ask you, could you tell us what was your experience in Venezuela before you came to the States? What do you study, and are your teachers, or who were your teachers?
Totally. Yeah, I'm kind of. I was blessed to grow up in a strong folk community where I have the possibilities to really travel around Venezuela and also outside. But yeah, my mentorship mostly start from Luis Escalante Iso, Proto Lopez, Che Hurtado, which is kind of, the Paco de Lucia of the Cuatro on this moment. And I was able and blessed to be to his side. And basically, he's one of the fundators of Ensemble Gurrupio, which is one of the foundation of Venezuelan music. And being around him, being around all the artists and people they normally I saw on the past and sharing all the experience, I was really deeply to understand the tradition in so many ways. And I wish I could celebrate, I will say, share more content in terms of Venezuelan music, but we could need at least a few years to stand and share all the contents, because we have so many things and styles in Venezuela that it could be great. And that's one of my goals, to document it and putting this together in books, so people we are able to get more involved what is Venezuelan music, the styles and all the traditions.
Okay, and I have a couple more questions. Could you mention some of the players or Venezuelan musicians that have contributed with the joint or the fusion of jazz and Venezuelan music?
Who is being?
Yeah, and do you know about any other Venezuelan musicians that have been fusion jazz and traditional Venezuelan music?
Yeah, so there's tons of groups. C4 Trio is one great group. Here also we have our Marco Granados Maestro is one of also the exponent around the world about this. And also we have Ensemble Gurrupio, we have Alfredo Naranjo, Ex Simon, as well known, and much people are already involved on this project and the same boat. And in my part, I'm kind of focusing to also documenting what is the process and what will be in order to share. I'm really always looking into the education of component, which is I want to share the message and sharing in different part of the world. This.
Yeah, and last question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Why the name merengue in Venezuelan music? Is it related to the Dominican merengue?
That's a good question. Yeah, there is a Dominican merengue, and it's totally no relation. I will say each country in South America, as I mentioned before, in one of my topics, the relation into the styles, and when Africa came to South America, that expand around the globe, and that's why each country developed I would say develop a different manifestation and tradition with that specific background. And yeah, our merengue is basically well known just for the 5/8, and through the years, it's important to mention that merengue, they start slow merengues 2/4, and that was one of the things I want to make on my composition. And then, as you know, nowadays, mostly everyone in Venezuelan repertoire and musician, they start to play this really fast. But yeah, original was really slow for people to dance, and that's one of part of the research I was able to do in this.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Oscar.
Maestro John Patitucci, do you have any comment or questions?
Thank you, Carlos, for sharing. And I appreciate your heart, and I feel that in the project. A couple of things I think might be helpful in the future when you are showing, because I have some experience with these rhythms, being, playing Joropo and different things. I think it's helpful for the people who aren't that familiar that you really stress what the percussion root rhythms are. So sometimes, like in some of those pieces, when you hear a solo, I heard like a piano solo or your solo, there was no percussion, it was just you. So that's something that would never happen in those ensembles that we love so much, that you like Gurufio and different music. There's always the percussion, whether it's you know, um, the maracas or different instruments. So I think that's because the African part of it has to do with the drums and the singing,
Totally.
right? So if you could be more obvious when you teach that, it's really good for people, because especially people in North America who largely there's so much ignorance in terms of what that is, you know.
Great. That's a good question. And also, I can, and thanks for the input, John. And if I don't mind, I can also mention that normally when I teaching kids, I always trying to demonstrate with percussion and rhythm, since it's easy for people to get this rhythm more than going to the theory. I just say, okay, let's do this maracas, let's do with the foot, and then lámpara, mesa, like 5A or anything else, Charlie, Parque, Charlie. So we're trying to incorporate different things that will connect with the rhythm section. But thanks a lot for the input. Totally.
Yeah, and also say hello. I want to say hello to Marcos and Oscar and everybody, because Marcos, we played together with Ed, and amazing, and his brother too. His brother played amazing maracas, freaked me out. So I mean, I think that's one of the things in Venezuelan music that is so special, the way like Joropo feels, even though, you know, there's other rhythms in South America that are similar. I think the more you can be very obvious in these kind of presentations about how it goes. I mean, I think you're doing the right thing with the kids. And the other thing is in the church, in the ministry part about bringing the music to young children, it would be also cool sometimes if you could combine different kinds of churches, because a lot of times the churches, because of language, become separate. You have a church over here that speaks this language, and this, it would be great if you could combine, you know. Also,
great. And yeah, there's also a really good point, John. Since we are doing this in Rhode Island, I was able to connect with different, I would say they call this like an assembly of all the church in Rhode Island. So my idea is to connect through, and we're doing that. We're sharing in different church our message, and we want to also collaborate as a performer, as a teaching, and giving opportunities. And of course, our church right now also open for any religion and any language, and it's really nice. And they're basically doing Korean, English, and Spanish. Yeah. And that's what we're looking to do and around.
Because I think there's a ministry there in terms of also with all the issues that are happening now in America, where if we can, you know, Martin Luther King said in the 60s, the most isolated and segregated hour is 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So if we can bring together Asian, African American, Latino cultures all being together in one place, that is a great and a profound social justice ministry that you can use, you can incorporate with your project here. It's something I'm very passionate about. My brother's a pastor too. But the idea of bringing people together to unite them so that the culture, music can do this. It can change and help this horrible situation we have for over 400 years in this country. So I think there's even greater societal and worldwide purpose that you can get into.
Yeah, totally, John. And one of the things I also really important to mention that I'm gonna start in July part of my artist workshop, and that's one of the reasons we want to open, since we're also doing also online. I'm kind of opening this for everyone to first of all watching online and home, but if they want to join us, could be in Rhode Island one day, but they can. I'm gonna do artist workshop with my peers, professors, and people I know they wanna share their knowledge and any topic, and doing this workshop as a seminar, and then they can learn something, and they will be open in Facebook and all the streaming social platform. So that's part of the including everyone in that part. That's my idea to open for everyone.
Now that you're talking about this beautiful project that you are having in the church, can you tell us a little bit about the origin, how this came about, and how you decided to make it part of your project for the master?
Totally. Since I started to home and church, that's been part of always for us really important. And I saw kind of like no opportunity. I will say a window is there when what you have in church is your house. It's basically where we normally gathering, we eat, and we having a really time together as a family. And I mentioned to the previous pastor, to do something like, let's create an institute where we could, share all the knowledge and all the things we normally know, and Hannah and me. And of course, there is a choir, incorporating also like tradition too, folk seminars. And we start like as a project, and since the kids start to like and enjoying what we've been doing and offering different things, we knew about the Boston University were doing application for grants. And I mentioned to him, hey, mostly this, it's important to mention, this application was basically for church. And I mentioned to him what we could do in our church, we could impact as a social work. And that was one of the things I'm focusing, because that's what I want to do as a life, long-term and project. And I mentioned we should focus on music to heal people and over all the things happening on this world. And he basically say, hey, that's a good idea, let's apply. And we basically, as you know, we have to basically defend by a year in order to get this grant. It was a 1 year commitment where we have to really prove we're doing this in the right direction in order to get this grant. And I'm really proud, Hannah and me, and we could do this, basically with all the experience and knowledge from basically starting from you guys, because it was not able to get these tools. I will know doing this. So I was able to, this knowledge through Berklee and Global Jazz, and open all the possibilities to think about this. I think a few years ago, I will never think about this kind of stuff. Even I know education is being strong, but since I was able to get all the knowledge from Global and all the knowledge from Berklee, and things changed for me in a really good, positive way. And Hannah know about that. And I basically really proud we keep doing this, and even now with this situation, that's I guess what we need to develop and keep going.
Thank you, Carlos, and I think it's obvious to all of us how sincere you are in this project. So I congratulate you and hope you can really continue. This is an important part of what you're doing as a musician. So thank you for that. Chase, as an advisor, do you have any question or comment to Carlos?
Yes. Carlos, what a journey. We've been chatting a lot lately. So first of all, I've been with you in this process, especially these past few weeks, and I just want to commend you on the amount of improvements you've done. Just in the past few days, you've really taken it to another level. So Congratulations about that. I've seen the transformation, the journey, and it's been remarkable. So congratulations.
Thank you.
A few suggestions I have just to think about, and then I want to ask a question at the end. The first thing is just a simple thing with the presentation. You know, you had a conclusion slide that you did before you presented about the Music Institute, and I would recommend maybe putting that slide at the very end instead. Other things of your work and the connections you were making, and I think some of those same things could be tied into the Music Institute that you're doing, you know, and you could maybe in a conclusion bring those two together in a way that might structure your presentation in a more symbiotic way. And then, you know, we've talked about this a lot, but I just encourage you to go deeper with your connections that you're making, and you're making so many. And I encourage you to think about, you know, the way different lenses can be connected, the macro, the micro, and all gradations in between. You know, what are the connections between the social, political, historical environments that you're talking between Venezuelan tradition and jazz and global jazz. And I think one of those big connections that you mentioned, you know, when you were talking about Tonada, is the blues, and what is both the historical nature of the blues, where does it come from, what is the life force behind it, and what connection does that have in the details as well, the micro specifics of what happens in the music and across different cultures. So I think the more you explore and go deeper into that, the more connections and the more your music is just going to blossom and find new pathways. And specifically, you know, what is the future of the blues? You know, that's the thing that the Global Jazz program asks. You know, where, you know, we've looked at a lot of history and we've recognized the tradition and the way cultures have moved through time. And I recommend you think, what is the future of that? You know, that's what we're looking now. So I think you have a lot of potential and a lot of things to offer in that arena. The question I'd like to ask you, you know, I'd like you maybe just, if you could tell everyone a little bit about this, because you've talked to me about this, about maybe about Tonada. You know, you said that it has a lot of personal emotions for you, and maybe you could talk a little bit about what it represents socially as well as personally to you.
Totally. Yeah, since Tonada is being, as I grew up also in farmers, able to see that there's a connection what normally remind me Venezuela. But at the same time, it's important to mention that on the past, Africa, or the blues, or what we know for the blues is through all the slaves, what they were doing that in way to express basically their own, you know, creativity, their own experience, and all the suffering, all the things as a happiness also. So many emotions in between that. And I feel like the Tonada with blues and myself is really deeply connected, because that's, every single day I'm thinking about my country and what we're doing and what's happening. And it's so sad that we have this kind of regime, and through this, my music, I'm trying to heal, but at the same time feel, you know, I'm human too. And I was trying to basically through this statement say, I'm here, but I'm still fighting, and I'm gonna do my best and my elements of as an artist and music to share and collaborate and bring a light for these people who really need in this moment. That's something right now it's tough when you cannot even have internet to listen anything, or, you know, I will say a simple basic of things they could do, and now there is no options for food, or so there's so many things our country passing, and we through this Tonada, I was able to kind of say my statement and at the same time liberate, and, you know, kind of that's what I said in the beginning, like the music is being for me the dark and the light times, you know.
Carlos, just one more thing. You know, make sure that you tell people about what the Tonada is with the animals too, right? Isn't this doesn't this have to do with the men out with the cattle and singing to the cows when they're milking them and everything? This was a deeper. I mean, you have to remember there's a lot. I only know it because I've been around some Venezuelan musicians who told me about Tonada, but most people don't even know what I know. So make sure you go deeper in, because for you grew up with it. It's like your ABCs, but a lot of people have no idea what the Tonada represents. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah. That's why, I mean, I did a small reduction saying that style was played when farmer would milk the cows, calling for the interaction between animals and humans.
Yeah.
So, but they also mentioned this as a labor right, symbolize the period of coexisting among those who perform common tasks. And in specific, that happened on the farm, mostly, and part of the slave, they were doing all the hard work. And that was the connection for me, and connecting this with my son.
Thank you. Danilo?
And thanks, Chase, also for all your encouragement in this project. I know you hammered on me a few times, but thanks a lot for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Thank you to all the Oscar and Marco and the whole panel for being here today. Carlos, so proud of you, what you've done, what you accomplished, what you presented today. You know, we are definitely in very unique times in terms of Latin America, because it's sort of like building a new Latin America in United States. It's a huge challenge. You know, there's still a lot of issues in terms of labels, in terms of preconceptions, and actually ignorance, you know, going on. So one of the things that I want to applaud and I side with everything everybody said in terms of how much heart you put into, and how much it makes me so proud to see the Carlos the first day I met, and now the Carlos, like, wow, having a very clear path of what he wants to do, and you are putting all your talent, man. That cuatro is killing, brother. That cuatro is happening. Right, Oscar? I never heard cuatro like that.
Totally.
So, the couple of things, I want to get to the things that I think it would actually take this to a level that you have opened a door. You're just knocking at this door in terms of where this journey is going to take you. It might be a better representation, the personal journey of Capacho's life, using the weapon of the cuatro to establish the changes that we need in society. You know what I mean? It's not the cuatro alone. The cuatro cannot travel without the one who's taking it. So totally. I would just rethink that part in there. I think in terms of what John said, in order to help, because we have to kind of break things down. When people say Latin America, they just pile everybody together, and they all, that's the same as a cumbia, and this is the same as this, and this is the same. It's a good time for you to say, yes, we are united, but there's so many subtleties that are driven by history, the history of every part of Latin America. For example, something that would be interesting in what Oscar addressed is to find the similarity of that word merengue in the Caribbean. But in order to do that, you must have to go a little farther beyond and said that Venezuela, I'm not completely sure, but I think I read years ago, it might be one of the first, it's like formal settlements of enslaved. So that's a crucial information. You know, we're talking about 1500. You see what I mean? That's a crucial information. You don't really have to make an effort to connect us to the blues. We already connected to the blues because the enslaved came to, just like the enslaved that came to Peru. And we already connected. We were connected. We just, you see what I mean? That's an important piece of information. Because sometimes when we talk about these things, Latin America feels not in the conversation of the black issues of America, and we are part of that from the history that unite us. You see what I mean? So from that perspective, I think that could be clarifying to John and to a lot of people. Say, oh, they're gonna start say, oh my God, I never thought that the black people were in Venezuela. Is that true? Just from that recognition, there's a lot of clarity that come through. That's one thing. The other thing, I think, writing the percussion parts, and then because you're playing so advanced. I appreciate it because I have listened to a lot of this music and grew up with a lot of this music. But I know how this may sound to a guitar player that comes from the north, or to somebody else. They say this guy's completely crazy. What kind of time? That's how they call us when they don't understand. Right or no, Oscar? They don't understand what beat it is. They say this is completely crazy. This guy's wild. So I think you could do a better job to really simplify that, and then help us. I'm including myself. Help us to understand what is the things that you are breaking from, and that you are proposing as new. Even your people is gonna say you're crazy. The Cuarto is not supposed to be played like that, which is very interesting. Those are my then the other stuff is like I see so much potential with this project because two of the big issues of our society, Latin America right now, is migration and corruption. You see, so if you see the tendencies of the government, Donald Trump, he's blocking because a new form of racism, of systemic racism, might be in evolution. In other words, from the black experience that we are noticing, the systemic racism, we might be passing to another era of immigration racism. You see what I mean? And that might be the new direction where they're going to try and block a lot of things. But with the music that you're doing, with the music that we all decided to be a part of, there are issues, sensitive issues, that you can bring to the table because music is a non-threatening weapon. And no other people have that luxury. That's a privilege. If you look at where you are right now, you're talking about representing your country in the highest form and the deepest form. You are right here in the knowledge-based city in the world where all the people want to come to study and all of that, but you're here right now presenting your master program. You see how much you can do for your country and for the representation of the new Latin America. So I'm proud of this project. I feel very proud. I just wanted to encourage you to continue this project, get deeper into those elements that tie our history together. So people don't wake up and say, oh, I didn't know that. We have to tell the story, and that's what you're doing. You're telling the story. It makes me really proud to hear it from you. Love and blessing, man. All the best in your future, and we are here for you.
I think Oscar has another question, correct? Yes, Oscar.
What I'm going to say is very weird in a way that music doesn't represent what I'm going to say. Because my question to Carlos is, do black people in Venezuela play all the styles? Do they let them play all the styles? Are they only playing, you know what I'm saying? Like in Peru, if a black musician wouldn't play Andean music, the difference in the States is like everybody plays everything. And that's what we are not there yet in Latin America's mentality. You know what I'm saying? So we have a lot of problems with discrimination, social discrimination in our own countries, never mind the States. Okay, so that's why music, for some people, is not one thing in our countries. I'm not like that. We do not have the defense of being a wino, be part of my culture because I'm black. Or if I'm from the Andes, the other rhythm, there is a Peruvian from the coast, that's not me. And that's what we have to break. It's still working.
That's Oscar, that's a great question. And I feel like it could be possible since, well, I mean, I didn't see that predominant in cities, like this is the way, but yeah, there is a states you can see mostly they will play, they have only percussion and that's what they will play. Maybe because one of the big issues, and I was able to work with the Sistema and few issues to fix things like I always kind of visionary to basically in terms of I want to help as much as I can people. And one of the issues I have, at least on the Cuatro side, I can mention that we don't have tools, we don't have, I would say, the material to create like a company or something and massive in order to everyone have a Cuatro. So, for example, I will give you example. When I try to, they make a Cuatro for me, the only guy can do this have to spend 2 years in order to give me the Cuatro. So one of the issues is we are not yet in terms of tools. They're improving. They are trying to, but since now everything is so close and close, it could be hard to develop or share since we don't have even internet now. So I'm not sure at which point I could help to my country where we cannot. It's the same with the scholarship or to come US. That's a dream, and as I say, I'm really proud and blessed that I could have this opportunity to come here US. And I'm not sure how long will take to somebody else will come. And that's one of the things I want to offer. I want to bring student opportunities that people come to Berklee and different, to learn and have the opportunity, because I know also talent and amazing musician over there, and they don't have the opportunity or, but yeah, it's true that certain of states and cities, they will have only that specific. I will say, for example, there is a city, Barlovento, which is famous also for only percussion people, and all this part of the slavery in the past also was present there too. And there's what we call also the part of the Afro-Venezuelan music. And yeah, they don't have cuatros. I mean, they will have only just cumacos and all the percussion African, what we normally know. But yeah, that's a good question, and I would like to collaborate or bring in new ideas to see how we can improve this. But that's one of my dreams. I want to share the possibility and inclusion for everyone, not only one group or specific group. And one point I'll say is rare to see also because we grew up as a mixed community. So for us, it probably was in the past a lot of discrimination, but in the same time, I feel like my generation, I didn't have the opportunity to see. I can see everyone of that color, and I will know. I mean, we don't talk about discrimination, race. That's something we normally, we are like brothers and family, and that's what mostly Venezuela trying to, always been doing, like close. We don't discrimination or races for anyone. And I feel like South America, but at least in Peru now, is like I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that, Oscar.
Yeah, just a short one. We all share the same food, but we don't share the same music. It's funny within the country. And the only examples that I could see in Latin America is Cuba and Brazil that have broken that somehow. I don't know how they did it, but they feel proud of their music no matter where they're from in the country. Totally.
Well, that's totally true. Sometimes I feel, but I feel in the same time it's part of what I was talking sometimes with my family. I always mention that identity is sometimes we don't know which our identity if we don't know the past, where we come from, and that's one of the things I always mention to my family, like how you are not proud of your music and you prefer to listen other style, which is. I also agree. I mean, we can like other stuff, but we should know at least what we have in our tradition, what is our culture. And that's one of the things, that's why deeply doing this research, I love my music and I want to share and do new things. But I know a lot of tradition things, which I still, and this project gave me more ideas. And also thanks Danilo, because you open also different doors to really deeply digging in this. And I have so many ideas for the future to kind of documenting this in these workshops and books, and we will see as many things I could approach on the future.
That's a great point Oscar brought to the table, and mentioned two of the biggest countries in terms of like ethnomusicology and research. Those two countries has the most research historically. Even documents from Cuba were written that were actually contributing to the development of the education in the United States. That's how profound this is. So the work that you do in Capacho, if you go that direction, Oscar and all of us, if we continue documenting and making the historical connections, like for me, I think you should really, and confirm with Marco Granado, I don't know if we can confirm that, is Venezuela the first official settlement of enslaved in Latin America? I thought I heard that from a friend of mine who's an ethnomusicologist. But I mean, things like this would be helpful. That you put something very like historical to really. I mean, education is a big part of this. I think this is going to shift if we continue.
I think it's Colombia, the first port of entry for African slaves.
Yeah, the port of entry actually Colombia, Panama, the Camino de Cruces, but the first official settlement in South America.
Yeah, actually, good question.
Research that. I think it was actually Caracas in the 1500s,
yeah,
or Comuna, something like that.
This is a good question, Danilo, and I feel like since I also was able to see like Leo Blanco, he did kind of worship in these terms. It looks like all the boats kind of starting at this point, and they were kind of moving around and selling and be distributing around the world. But yeah, we are kind of the closest, as you see here on the map. You can see here.
Check if you can make that connection about being the first permanent settlement in South America. And
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, because that's a very important. This is what the Cubans and Brazilians they have been able to manage. They can go history and they can explain it with grounds. You know, it's very deep. And another thing, as I think that Oscar mentioned, really that is important to keep in mind, is that the indigenous, the Spaniards, they really contribute in very specific ways in our countries. You know, for example, la tonada, that comes from Spain, the name, the word. But merengue doesn't come from Spain. Merengue is more, it comes from like, it's got other combinations with the Caribbean. You know what I mean? Some people call that musiferengue, something like that. It's an African word that we learn in West Africa. You know, it's very interesting. You know that when those connections are made, and then you can make a more in-depth analysis and what is, and then you can address those issues that Oscar was talking about, which is very true in Latin America. You know, and that would be very, very an important work, I think, to not only there but also here.
Totally.
You know, but so proud of what you did, Carlos.
I think Marco wanted to say something, right?
I'm sorry, Marco.
No, I just wanted to add to what Danilo was saying. I think the settlements of slaves in the north coast of Venezuela, it was similar to the same settlements of slaves in northern Brazil, in Bahia. And what's unique about that is that they were like completely isolated. And literally, there are communities in the northern part of Venezuela that still to this day keep the same traditions that date back a long time. So I don't know specifically if it dates back to the 1500s, but there's definitely similarities between what happened in Venezuela and also northern Brazil.
That's deep. That's Capacho. You gotta do that homework. That's an amazing piece of information. Yeah.
No, actually, that's one of the things I know it was something really crucial, because I know this topic is something which is a lot of things to, still digging and I'm kind of proud. This is just a small section, but I'm gonna totally go deeply in these terms since that's one of my long-term projects. And thanks,
Yes.
Oscar and Marco, Danilo.
So I think you have some homework to do, Carlos, for the next 20 years. So
I think we all do. I think we all do.
Right.
We all do.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah, definitely.
Carlos, I just want to say, I think it was 2014 when we went to Africa with the Institute together. And we're in 2020, and now you presented this beautiful research, and you're living, the factory, but you're still part of the family. Now we have, you're gonna have to support Hannah, right, to continue. But it's
well, it's important to mention I'm not leaving.
No, I know. That's what I was saying. It's like, it's in your case, it's like it's so beautiful to have had you around all these years and all the trips we did, and we all, Danilo and all of us want to congratulate you, and congratulations on your presentation. And Danilo and I would like to thank Oscar, Marcos for being with us. Thank you so much, and Jennifer and Mary
Thank
and
you.
Chase, Faris, Nico, all of you. We'll continue on Wednesday with 3 more students. Thanks again, and congratulations, Carlos. Get around,
Thank you.
okay?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Berklee.
Congratulations. Well done. Excellent. Real education.
Oh, great job, Carlos.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Really, really, really well done. And beautiful music too. Wow.
Amazing.
Congrats, brother.
Thank you, and I appreciate and still that's one of my mission along the future. I'm gonna keep doing this as much as I can. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
You can get your doctorate.
For sure, that I'm looking for that also now. Since Danilo and everyone mentioned, that's one of the things I want to focus on the future. As a future plan, I want to probably even go deeply into ethnomusicology, or going more deeply in that terms.
Wonderful. Good.
Wow. All right. Thank you all. Thanks, Carlos. Take good care, everyone. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.